So, as you may know, I deleted TikTok a couple of years ago or a year and a half ago, and the results were pretty good. I felt better. I was like better mentally. I was more aware. I wasn't AFK from the space I was in. My mind was in its head. Let me just say that. But there was one problem. The moment I deleted TikTok, I got too much free time and I didn't know what to do with that free time. So if I scrolled for 3 hours a day, every day of the week, and I deleted TikTok, I got 3 hours extra. But I didn't have anything to do with it. So in the beginning, I had a bit of self control and discipline, and I kept myself from watching other sources of short form content. But then I saw people around me watching them, and I just wanted to watch them. My discipline started to fail because I didn't really have anything to do. I was bored, and I started lying to myself with Instagram Reels. And I started to tell myself and cope that I was watching it only for 5 minutes a day, which soon became just bullshit. I started scrolling first on educational content, but then I started more and more going towards brain rot, which isn't good, and more towards video games, which is also not good. And then when I started to see that the algorithm changed on Instagram, I started to watch educational things on YouTube Shorts. That lasted for longer, but I got also reactions from friends and people sent me videos which were not really that educational. So when I clicked them, I found them interesting. I liked them. I clicked on the channel. I started to scroll more, and that led eventually to me watching degenerate shorts. And then after like 2 weeks or something, no, not 2 weeks, after like 2 months or something, I started to realize what kind of mistake I was making. But I just threw it away that realization and continued lying to myself with I'm just watching 5 minutes a day and watching educational content. Not watching the degenerate content, but I just ended up mindlessly scrolling, not on TikTok, but on Instagram and YouTube. And the results were actually that I fell down that path again. I I almost decided to download TikTok back, but a friend of mine told me, "Don't do it because if you do it, you're gonna scroll mindlessly more. At least on Instagram, you have not only the reels, but TikTok it's full scroll. You don't have anything else. You don't have like posts where you read or something. It's scroll if you have with two images, and then scroll further, and I didn't download it and so, but then I realized something. The moment I deleted TikTok, I made one big mistake. That those 3 hours of free time, it was just free time. It was white space in my day. I got bored and I didn't have anything to replace it. If I did put something to replace it, for example, reading and going on a walk and more exercise, it will be better. But I didn't realize the mistake back in time. So I started to actually implement those things and started to lessen the shorts and the reels. I started to fill that time more with like reading books like this one. This one is a book from school. Reading books and doing actually good stuff because the path I'm on is self improvement. I can't keep going back. If take 2 steps forward, I can take four back because then I'm never gonna evolve. So I realized that I was fooling myself all time through, which was actually which is actually the worst thing because your mind lies to itself, lies to you to just get that dopamine because it needs it. It doesn't need it, it wants it. And it tells you that it needs it, but it's a trap. So when you decide to delete TikTok, not only TikTok, let's say video games and other dopamine or degenerate things, dopamine filled things, then you need to have something to fill that gap. If you don't, you're gonna start fooling yourself like I did and start to fall back, start to take steps back. Don't do that. For example, if you were playing video games 4 hours a day and you want to reduce it to 2 hours, then you gain 2 hours extra time. It's just a beginning. 2 hours of video games a day is a lot. You gain 2 hours of extra time, you can divide it, for example, like 1 hour of reading. You read then around 20 to 30 pages a day, even more, 40 or 50 pages a day, just in 1 hour. That's a good thing to start. And maybe 10 minutes of meditation, a bit sitting in sunlight, socializing with other people. And if you see that other people are on their phone when you're talking to them, it's not a good vibe. So if someone is talking to you, make sure that you are not doing something on your phone, because it comes over as disrespectful and as if you're not appreciating that person. So that person will want to talk to you less, and you don't want it, right? So socialize with other people and make sure you spend that time right. Start to build a business, maybe start hanging out with friends. Don't do degenerate stuff, obviously, but you know what I mean. So, the best thing you do when you delete TikTok, keep your eye and watch out for the little, like short form content types of things. For example, Instagram Reels. Make sure that when you open Instagram, you don't automatically go to the Reel tab, because if you do that, your brain is fucked, and I mean really fucked. You need to unwind that. Maybe each time you open Instagram, think a bit, or each time that you want to open Instagram, put the app that asks you if you want to open Instagram. Put a password behind it, for example. Or maybe just overall decrease the color in your screen so that everything becomes gray. Believe me, I do it sometimes, and it makes your phone a lot boring, a lot more boring. So keep your eye on those little hidden versions, and just remember, Khan always delivers.